All right, squad, in today's video, we're going to set up a custom notifier using the notice gem so that we can track our webhooks. So when they get sent, we want to create a log, and then when they're complete, we want to update the status of that so we can create a very easy way for users to debug if the events are actually firing. So let's have a quick look at how that looks. All right, so inside of our notifiers, we're going to create the ability to bulk deliver by a webhook event. We're going to create a new custom delivery method called the webhook event, and then we're going to track the status of it before it starts. We're going to set up the headers, and then we're going to actually run the request. And then from there, we're going to update the event depending if it was successful or not. So let's go. All right, last time we spoke about, or we set up the webhook for the comment.created event, in the noticed notify. So we're delivering by webhook. If the webhook endpoint is present, we get the webhook URL, and then we're delivering that payload, right? What I want to do here is we created the webhook event, basically our logging, so that we can actually track this and make sure that these payloads are being delivered. There isn't a really easy way to do this inside of Noticed. The way to do this is actually create a custom delivery method. So this gets a little bit more advanced, but it's actually a really powerful thing. So you can see here, we've already got two. We've got one for Ably, which is our real-time notifications. So every time we publish, you can see here, we publish to Ably, we're giving it a payload, and then this goes off and actually sends it to the channel and publishes that with the REST API. So that's a custom one. We also have a batch one that basically just puts things into the DB, but doesn't send anything, right? Because we want to collect them and then deliver them at once. So we have two already. So what we want to do now is basically create a standard webhook method that we have here, which is built into Noticed. So if we have a look inside of the code base quickly, we can go into code. I believe it's in lib, then Noticed, bulk delivery methods, and webhook. And you can see it's very simple, right? All it requires is a URL, and then it just does a post request, right? So we should be able to hook into this post request here, but we actually want to collect a bit more. So we might even go straight HTTP to deliver this, so we can grab all the data we want out of it. So I don't know how we can do this without creating a conflict, because we don't want it to be called a webhook notifier. It's going to be a custom webhook, and I want to call it custom. So let me have a quick think about what that name's going to be. So I'm just having a look in the code base what they have. So they have quite straightforward because of the actual name, but what we could probably do is tracked webhook, because we are trying to track it. Just trying to think of a clean name here. I would like to just use the straight up one, and I wonder if you could, because if we have a look here, if we go deliver by Ably, we're actually telling it there. Let's see if we can just call it webhook and see if we can actually override it. I'm actually even thinking maybe we could just use webhook event, because that's what we call it in our system. And let's go delivery method is webhook event, right? So, because we want to track this, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab this to begin. So it's very similar. So it's delivery methods and it's webhook event, right? And then what we are going to require, the required options, is it required options? I believe so. And then if we have a look at the actual implementation of it, required options is URL. So that's what we are requiring. So basically, the only method that we need to have is the deliver. So that's what we're going to have here. We're going to have the delivery method, and that's where we're going to actually send it. But the nice thing here, when you use a custom one, we can do the before. So we can use the callbacks. So if we jump back here into the docs, we can have a look at before. So we get all these, not these ones there, before deliver, around deliver, and after deliver. So what we're actually keen on here is before deliver, and then we also want to have after deliver, because we want to track. So before we send this, we want to actually create the event in the system saying, hey, we're about to do this thing, put it in, deliver the thing, and then once it's delivered, we can actually say, cool, after deliver, update the event in our DB so that we have the right data. So what we can do as well is now inside of the base methods, because we're basically just trying to create a similar method to this. So the options inside here are going to be like this. So I'm just trying to see. Yeah, so we do it all in the deliver block. Basic auth. That's if we want to support basic auth. We can basically just say that. I'm going to just put this here for now, just so that I have them, so I know what we're after. So we got headers, JSON, and then the form. And for our system, we'll probably just deal with JSON all the time, so we probably don't need the form. Obviously, this gem is built for everyone, whereas we know our use case, so we don't have to go that detailed or that flexible. It's just, this is the only thing is I'm wondering if we need to supply basic auth, but I'm probably just use the headers with an API key or something if you want to authenticate on the other side, but you also got the secret. What are we passing in through here at the moment? We could almost just require a webhook endpoint and then not have to worry about the URL, because we're going to actually be able to get more information from the webhook endpoint itself. So what we'll do is we'll change this. Required option is the webhook endpoint, right? And then our webhook endpoint would be this evaluate option. And I believe this just does something like wrap something special here just so if it's not there, it doesn't crash. I think that's what that part does. And the JSON. So this is the basically the payload, but we call that the payload there. We can leave that as the JSON. I think that's probably going to be the most flexible there. And then the headers, the URL we don't need at all. But what we're going to do now, so what we're going to say here is we're going to say deliver by webhook event, and we're going to say class. We have to supply that in. And this is delivery methods webhook event do config. If that's present, we don't need the URL. What we're going to say is this, is that, which is sweet. The event name, we've got the JSON. Okay, so that should be all right. And then what I want to do here is I also want to go puts for deliver. I also want to make sure that we actually, get this stuff, or what do we get in this block here? Is it the same as this, or is there something else passed in? And here we're going to just put in here. We're going to say puts deliver, and I just want to get here for now. I want to put in the puts webhook endpoint to JSON. Okay, let's have a look. We might have to restart, so let's just quickly do that. And then from here, we are going to jump into our thing, and we're going to hit it. Test. We also want to actually start up our webhook.site. Our webhook.site, get a new one going for us. Hopefully this is the same. So we'll test this out now, and then we're going to jump in here. We're just going to set, it's not going to actually fire yet though. So if we're going to hit test, okay, we're getting a lot of work happening. So let's see what we've got. We've got nothing fired yet, which is annoying. No, it is there. It's just my search isn't finding it. There it is. So that's before deliver. Okay, so it hasn't done anything. It literally just stopped it before deliver. So that's strange. So maybe, no, there we go. The job's running now. Before deliver is an action job, notification batch. I wonder what if before deliver has to return something or not. All right, so it is firing here. But what we're getting is an issue. The easiest way to solve this problem is there's so much noise. I just commented out these two delivery methods. But you can see here, undefined method event for instance of comment created notifier. So where are we using event? There's something here where we're using event. Is it in here? It's webhook event, delivered by webhook event. And then where is the event? For instance of comment. So where is that happening? May have made a mistake here too, because I think we have to use the bulk deliver by, this bulk delivery method instead of the application delivery method. Let's give that a swing, because I think the individual needs an event. So let's clean that up and then run a test again. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's that. Because when you do a single, I think it has to have an event. So I think this is slightly different to the bulk. Can't actually see where events required or used, but it could be happening in the application notifier. Don't know where that is. So I can't find that. But anyway, I think if we have a look, is there an event defined somewhere? Because this is the bulk and then this is the single. So I'm not sure where that's actually happening, which is annoying. So I can't actually figure out why. But I know that if we change this to the bulk delivery method, which it is supposed to be, we are getting now into our debugger. So before deliver, it's interesting. Has that fired? Deliver, after deliver. So we haven't gotten before deliver, which is strange. But here, if we have a look at now what we've got in here. So we've got our debugger. Let's see if we've got our webhook endpoint. There it is. So we got our URL from that. That's all good. We got our headers will be nothing, nil. Yep. JSON, all our JSON, right? So that's basically our payload that we want to send. So that's looking all good. So now if we just hit continue, we should hopefully get into our after deliver, but it doesn't seem like it's doing that. Deliver. I'm wondering why these aren't firing. I wonder if they only happen in the other version. I have a feeling that they don't actually run. To be honest, I think they don't run in the bulk and only run in the single. So I think that's still okay, because we can still within that deliver method we can actually do what we need to do. Let me just confirm that. Yes, I'm just looking at the docs. So we've got the define model callbacks deliver here in the individual, in the bulk. It also has them. So that's interesting. So that's the bulk delivery method. And let me just make sure that I'm actually inheriting from the right thing. Bulk delivery method and define callbacks deliver, run callback. So it is in there. It is in there. So I actually don't know why. So that happens in perform, and then it's false, and then it's run callback, and it should be working. So it's very interesting why it doesn't seem to be firing. Oh man, sometimes, honestly. So these are not def. It's like this, right? So it's before deliver do, after deliver do. Like that. Oh man, if I just read the friggin' documentation. Okay, let's see if that works now. Hopefully we can get what we need to do. You could still all do it in the block. I mean, the deliver block, to be honest. I think that would still work. So let's just check here. So we got after deliver, deliver, before deliver. There we go. Before deliver, there's our delivery methods. So it's giving us the delivery method. And then we're getting deliver, and then we're getting after deliver. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Lock it in. All right. So let's see how we can implement this now. So what we want to do now is we want to create the actual webhook event, right? Now, what do we need inside this guy? So if we have a look at what our model was, if I open it, it'll probably be the easiest if it's annotated. No, webhook event, the model. Here we go. So delivery status, pending, right? So we're creating it before we're sending it, it's pending. Then what we want to do here is the event type. So we probably require that now. That's something we need. Is success is false, right? Because it hasn't sent yet. Request body, we're going to set that. Request headers, we're going to set that. And that's going to be a JSON object. Response body's nothing. Response header's nothing. Status code's nothing. Creator, that's going to get set. Organization ID is important. And then we're going to have the webhook endpoint. All right. So this is basically the start of our log. So let's just check. This webhook here belongs to an organization. It also belongs to a webhook endpoint, okay? So we need to also check our webhook endpoint, and it has many webhook events, and it's dependent destroy. So if we destroy the endpoint, we can destroy the events that come with it. Just to clean up, that's set. Okay, great. So that's what we want. So now what we can do is simply evaluate. I mean, we're probably just going to grab this out. No, we don't need that. So we got the JSON, we got the headers. So the request headers is going to be there. And then this is the JSON body, request body, right? So I don't know. Let's see, it's probably going to crash because we're supplying an object instead of a string. But we could just turn that into a string there. Is success is false and the event type. So let's see if we probably need to send that through. Right, so this has got the event name because that's for ably. I wonder if this block knows what the notification is, the actual notifier. So I'll have a look if we can get that out. And before I do that, I'm just going to grab the webhook endpoint here, evaluating that option. And then I'm just going to grab the organization. So this will fire because it's going to be the organization of the webhook endpoint. You can't use an endpoint that's not your organization. So that's the one firing. It's just purely for filtering. So to see what we have inside of this method, I'm just going to run debugger here. So now let's clean this up and we're going to run this again, the old test comment. There we go, debugger. What do we have? So self is, whoa, I don't want that to happen. Self, there we go. Okay, we can see there's, let's just clean this up and run it again, self. Okay, so what do we have? So we've got a webhook event delivery method with the arguments, which is the webhook. That's the main one. Then we've got the config. It's got the if, it's got the endpoint, the JSON, and then it's got the event, right? So that's the actual event that we want. So we can get the event type from there. That's fine. We've got the job ID. We've got everything else. All right. So let's go self.event. That gives it to us. Or if we ran event, that would also give it to us. So we've got the event. So we can go event.event type. Yep, that's given it to us. It's annoying because we've got this process running at the same time. But here we go. So it's that's there. Let's see if we can run event.event type. That also does it. Okay, cool. So we've got access to that. So what we can do is we can grab that and we can say the event type is event.event type, right? Boom. Okay. So this can all go. We got the endpoint, we got the JSON that we want, and we got the delivery status set to pending. All right, let's have a look and see if this actually fires now. So we can hit continue on the debugger, close that off. Now let's go test it. Okay, so it's done the deliver. It's got the after deliver here, and then we've got an insert. Perfect. Look, there it is. Okay, so now in our DB, I'm almost wondering if we should just I've set request body to a string, right? Like this is now just a string. Let's see here. We can't really format it now because it's not, okay, it changes to JSON. See, it's converted it to a Ruby object, which is kind of annoying. So, because it's using the serialization there, and it's going to be a little bit hard to follow. I wonder if we can just go to string, right? To string. Because it's actually not JSON. I think that's what's confusing here because it's not JSON. It's actually, it's a JSON object. It's not a JSON string. I guess it is JSON. So we're going to say to string on it, and let's just see what that looks like. So we'll run that again. Test, send it. Okay, it looks like it's doing the exact same thing. Because that's probably how Ruby's storing it. Just wondering if I want to store it actually as JSON in the DB, because I think our payloads will always be as a webhook would always be JSON. So I might change the actual event there, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to roll back. So I'm going to close this off. Then I'm going to go Rails DB rollback. That'll just do the last migration we ran, the webhook events. And then from here, we're going to go DB migrate, scroll to the bottom of it. And here I'm going to change that to JSONB as well, to be honest, because we don't control what comes back here, the response headers, but we do control what goes out. And I think for us, if we can have it as JSONB, we can actually search these things. And we've used this in the past, where you actually go and search through what you want, if you want to find a specific thing in a payload, it's easier to do. So I'm going to just do that. And then we can keep the format of the JSON as an object. So run that. Now we need to run Rails S again. Otherwise, we're going to have a sad time. So let's have a look. So we're not going to turn that into a string. I don't want to turn that into a string. Just save that as an object. All right. Because we define the payload. No one else does. So let's try that again. All right. Save that. Now we go. There we go. It's a proper JSON string now in the DB. Because we have obviously Postgres supports it. There we go. We can format it easy. We can search it easy. It's a proper reproducible thing. We get exactly what was sent, which is great. Nothing sensitive in there. You always want to make sure that's also key there. But this is sick because it's got the times. This is very usable on the other side. With the ID, we've got the payload, and we've got the comment created. Love that. Okay, wonderful. So you can see now we've added the event in here. We're creating our custom hook, or our custom delivery method, I should say, to do this. So we've created, before we're creating the event. The event is now in the system. So this would show up now in our logs and say, hey, as soon as this happened, it would come up there and say, cool, it's not successful. There's no status code. It's still pending delivery. Wonderful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually go and send this thing. So what I'll do here is I'll probably just go straight HTTP gem here. I like that for sending requests. So I'm just going to copy this. We're using this in our Slack here. But what we want to do is now going to have HTTP post. We also want to use a couple of other things for now. Like we want to actually use this, right? So we're going to grab that. I'm going to chuck that in. So we're using logging just for now when we're trying to debug this bad boy. We're going to chuck that there. Going to have that. It's fine. Post. Okay, so we got the JSON. All right, so what do we need? We need the JSON. Bang, that there. We want the URL. So that's going to be webhook endpoint.url, right? We're going to grab the headers, and that's an object. Now, I don't know if this is going to handle nil. Let's just do that in case. Actually, let's try it. Let's see what happens. What we also probably want to do is wrap this thing. So if it does throw, I don't think I do that anywhere. We want to try and catch it, right? So it's like begin rescue, just so that we know, like, if something goes wrong, we can still just update our event, right? I wonder if I can set this as and have access to it in here. So I'm just going to run a debugger again in the deliver because I want to see if I can grab this. Hopefully this sets an instance variable here because then we can check out what's going on. So debugger, it should almost work here. Let's have a look. And I'm wondering if we even need an after. Do you know what I mean? Like I said before, you could just run this all in the one method. Like you could just be like, before you call deliver or try the HTTP, create the webhook, and then after set it. So that is definitely something you can do. This kind of just, I guess, is a little bit clearer when you're reading the code, but either way would definitely work. Let's go test, see what happens. Okay, so in the deliver block, let's see if we have access to our webhook event. Yes, we do. Wonderful. So that's what I wanted to see. I'm just going to hit continue. There we go. Look at that. So we're actually just sent. We can see that our HTTP did a post request, right? It's done it with headers, nothing, because we haven't passed any. It's passed this payload through. Excellent. The URL has no default content. Okay. So that's the response we're getting back, right? So that's fine. That's not a problem. So if we now have a look here, you can see at, what's the time now? Where are you, champion? Doesn't say. Anyway, we got our event being sent through here, right? So that's happy days. So everything's good. That's using that. You can see the user agent's HTTP gem there. But what we could also do is I almost want to say like, I wonder if this works with nil. I really hope. I mean, I'll just do this. So what I want to do here is just say user agent. And I just want to say it's Clipflow, yeah? Just be nice on the other side so that people know what's going on. Is that fine? Yep. And then we're going to merge in the headers if there are any. You know what? I might even do this. I might just go pull it out of here, tidy this up, and it's like fallback. So if there's nothing there, we just set that. And then we just merge in the headers. Great. Right. And we could even say here, merged headers. Just pull this out, makes it clearer. Is this dot merge in headers. And then we just go in here, bang that in there, cleaner. Okay, cool. So we're getting that back now. So what we want to do here is we actually want to have the response set to this. And what I want to rescue from, and I'm very interested to know if this method runs, even if this fails. So that's why I almost think like, let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the response. So let's go here. We're going to go chuck a debugger in again and fix that up. Don't need a debugger there. Don't need a debugger there. We don't need that really either. Okay, sweet. All right, let's run it. It's looking good. This is the good stuff, really. The fun stuff. Okay, so debugger. What's our response here? There's our response. It's a 200, so that's good. So what we can say is I think it's is okay, or I think it might even just be that, or success maybe. Nah, oh, this is annoying code. So there's the code, right? So if we want to update this now, we could say webhook event, because now all we care about is updating our system, right? And telling it. So this is called, where was it? In here, it's called the status code. So that's going to be response.code. Cool. So we got that. Is success is another thing we want to define. And I know that there's something here that we can use. We want the response headers and the response body, right? And we just want these as text. We actually don't care about anything else. It's response.body to string. Do we have to read that? Yep. So that's fine. I wonder if that'll automatically call on there. I'm just going to shove that in there and see what happens. And then from here, we want response.headers. There's our headers. So it's HTTP headers. Let's see what happens if we turn that to a string. No, that's not what I want. How can we get these out nicely now? So is this, can we go to JSON? Let's see if I just puts it, just makes it easy to read here. If this is going to, it's done it as, this is an array. I wonder how we can get this to an object. Yep. So just to hash, I should say, to H. So if we do response headers to H, to JSON, that's going to give us a nice, boom, that's what we want. So our headers are going to be come out as a JSON, headers, sick one. And then there's definitely an okay method. It's response.is okay. It's definitely something like this, success or is success, status success. Anyways, come on guys, like give me a break. Why don't I know what this is? It's result.status.success. So it's response.status.success with a double C. That's it. So we can give that, and that's going to do the work to figure out, like, because there's a whole bunch of codes. It could be 203, 200, blah, 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 blah. We don't care. All right. So here's where we're getting the response. So this is what's going to happen. If the server on the other side throws something at us, like a 400 or something, it's going to be a fail. It's going to give us the status code. It's going to give us the headers, give us the body. So it makes it easier to debug, right? That's what this is all about. It's debugging. Debugging is painful if you don't have the data. And now we're going to say, if we fail for any reason, like this crashes or throws, we're going to now say is success is definitely false. This we're going to just say nil because we don't know, right? And then here we're going to just say what we can do is rescue with an error, and then it'll be, I think is it e.message? Let's try that. I mean, I don't know. How are we going to get this to actually crash? How do I get this to throw properly? You know what I can do? I can just do this. I can just say blah, right? That should throw it for us anyway. It should give us an active method error. So let's go here. See, chook. What are we getting? Is it done? Probably. Oh, we also need to update the status. So did that happen? Or did it do something else? Comments, conversations, noticed events, noticed notifications, solid queue jobs. It doesn't look like it ran. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, it was hung in the debugger. Classic. So you can see here now, we've got this, it's been entered, and you can see here, we've got a response already, unnoted attribute blah for webhook event. Boom, it caught it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. So obviously there's no event blah. But what we want to now do also is, if it's successful, we also want to set that status, which is, so what are our statuses? We've got pending, delivered, failed, or cancelled. Now, we're not going to have some of those. So that is delivery status. So we're going to say here, delivery status is delivered. And then here, the reason we have cancelled is so that you could queue again. Like you could just say, okay, well now stuff it. I'm not even going to send it. We're not going to do that right now. This is just a little string for us to kind of know, but we're going to say failed. And really the only one that matters is pending, because for us at this stage, we are sending the pending is we're setting that before we send, and then either it's going to be successful or it's going to fail, but we're going to have that in here, right? So delivered and failed is basically like success, failed. But this is stuff you'd use if you wanted to like reschedule that, like you failed, but you want to try again. We're not going to do that right now. We're not going to have backoffs and all that. Just creates extra complexity. But that looks like it's good to go. So now if we have a look here, so this is failed. These are all pending. It would all show up in our dashboard as pending, and the status codes would all just be like, yep, nothing happened, champion. But if we now go test, send it, you're going to see pending, delivered, boom. Look at that. Look how quick that was. Pending to delivered. Status code 200 is success, boof. Request headers. Okay, I know why that's happening. That's fine, because we've supplied none. I wonder if we can define a method here to create this, because I really want these to be across here too. So let's see if we can create a little method here. I hope we can. Request headers is going to be this. Where else do we use that? We don't use that anywhere. So we're going to grab this. We're going to grab this. And we're going to return this. And I'm just going to merge that out. And then this will be request headers. And this will be request headers. Let's see if that works. Let's jump in here. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. So there's our request headers, user agent Clipflow, because we want to see that anyway. And then here, what's this saying? So here's their headers. This is so good, right? Like we're actually getting, this is how you debug stuff, right? We can now jump in and go, okay, what had happened? This is what this other server replied to us. All good. We've got the request ID. We've got everything with the date, happy days. And then we got exactly what this URL has no default, change the response. So but that delivered, right? There you go. Well, you can see it right there. All right. So that was a bit of a journey. But that was really handy. All right. So this is how we set up custom delivery methods with the notice gem. Very powerful. I really like this. Like I could have gone and just created like a special single way to, just send webhooks. But I like having it here in the notify. It's very clean. Like there is a little bit of overhead and complexity to use this gem because now we have to each time look into the docs. But once you set it up, you have that boilerplate there for you. But you can see here, it's very clean to see, okay, every time we fire this notifier, we're going to deliver to Ably, we're going to deliver by batch, and we're going to deliver by webhook event. It just makes it very easy to figure out what's going on. And then from each one has its own thing. So you only set this up once. This is very flexible, right? This is now every time we send a webhook event, we're going to use this. We don't have to configure it every time. Just bang, send it. So if we want to add retries, if we want to do any of that, we can add that into here. So we can define that. And then wherever we want to do the other stuff, we just drop this in. The only other thing that I would like to improve is probably have a lookup for this. So you don't have to do this every time. Because if you forget to do where enabled or where event enabled, or I might even simplify this in the future. But yeah, because we're going to basically every event. So now when we do like thumbnail created, we're going to add this webhook event, right? And then also I'm like thinking like, is it called webhook endpoint, deliver by webhook endpoint? Is that probably a better name for it? So I might even change it to that. But that's the kind of little improvements that I'm just thinking in the back of my head. But other than that, I think that's good to go. So hopefully you enjoyed that session and we'll catch you on the next one.